Very spicy. Alright guys, welcome to today's Drift Games vlog. The gang's back together.
We're here.
Jimmy's cold, he's in Ireland. Steph's here. Adam Ivel driving at the bash this weekend. And RJ, welcome to Ireland.
Thank you.
What's up, buddy? So we're here at DRT Automotive. I'll be honest, they have our Verossa right now. They're going to do some tuning. They got the Link ECU plugged in. Jimmy's going to explain a little bit of it along the way because he knows more about Link ECUs.
Okay, I guess I'm going to
technically.
explain it. Yes.
And he's going to sit down with Lloyd and go through some of the stuff in the car that he's driving this weekend. It's the first time Jimmy and I've seen the car. It's the first time I've heard the car running that it's not stock.
I'm impressed. We pulled up and we heard it doing a pull. I was anticipating it to still be on jack stands with wires sticking out of it, but.
And if anyone wants to know what we did with the car, so it's a standard 1J, it was manually converted. We did a Tommy turbo kit, we did a manifold, we did injectors, we did an exhaust, we did a clutch, we did new radiator.
Everything around the long block.
Pretty much.
Basically just.
Just for reliability.
Nice.
So the boys have been working super hard. They've been putting in at least till 2 in the morning to try and get this thing ready for us to come here today.
I don't think he ever went home.
No. And he also said that he's got some very cool cars here as well that we haven't seen at all. Okay. So we're going to do a little wander around and then we're going to, because obviously all this stuff outside is, it's down our street, right? So we got Supras, we got Silvias, we got 180s, we got Stagias. Always think with the R34 front end, you know?
They almost seem wrong without them.
This one I think has that.
Had that. Oh wait, what, you hear it? Nice.
So we made the car look like an old D1 GP car.
Okay.
I think it sounds like an old D1 GP with the dump valve and everything. I was like, it's quite old school. So we're gonna roll inside, get Lloyd and Andy to give us a little walk around and show us some stuff, and then we're gonna get to the tuning part of our build, which hopefully going well will leave us with a couple hours to get the car ready for the bash. So let's go.
Josh, we wish you were here, by the way.
No, we don't.
Oh, by the way, just a little caveat to this episode. We just came from Mondello Park where Jimmy and I and all the gang met Richard Rollins from Gas Monkey. We didn't want to throw the camera out because obviously it would just be a bit too much.
Yeah.
He was chilling. He was driving some cars in Mondello. He bought Drift Games hoodie, which is pretty cool. We'll insert that picture here. But also, Josh is off this week and he's missed Richard Rollins just coming to where he works, which is. Sorry, Josh, but that's twice now. He missed The Rock when me and Adam met him in LA, and now he's missed Richard Rollins. So basically, if Josh stays away, we're going to meet a lot of famous people.
Good, yeah.
But whenever Josh is there, not so much. So anyway, let's go inside. Sorry, Josh.
Here we have a proper Irish garage. Very dark and cold with JDM stuff everywhere.
So we are here with Andy.
How are we?
And Lloyd. And Adam. So these are the boys that have been putting in the hours to try and get this thing ready. I honestly didn't believe it would be on the dyno when we got down here because how many wire? Well, we took a Link ECU plug-in, which is for a different car, and we thought that would be an easier option. I say we, but I think Lloyd was on board with me on this as well. And it turned out, how many wires did we have to change?
I lost count at 65 and I kept going after that.
So 65.
All of them. The answer is all of them.
So when I heard that, I went, oh, we ain't making the weekend. That's the end of that. And
I used to like sleeping. Then I met you years ago, and I just
not many people sleep around me. So basically, if you guys don't know, Lloyd is responsible for all the mapping on my Corvette, and the Corvette's coming back here tomorrow for a little bit of a quick tune before the weekend. He made magically the car work very, very well. So I said it's the best to put him in, and then if we sprinkle a little bit of Jimmy Oaks on top for some spicy tunes, and then we'll have a car that's ready to go.
Jimmy Oaks liability.
But it's all Jimmy's fault if it goes wrong, basically. And then he leaves for America and we can shout, but we can't hear us.
I'll make Wayne fix it.
Wayne,
coming for you, Wayne.
So basically what we're going to do is the boys are just going to put some octane booster in the car just to get things set up for a couple of pulls and a bit of tuning. But they have another unit here with a load of funky stuff in it.
Yeah, the engine room, all the fabrication, all that.
So we're going to go in and have a look at some interesting cars because that's what we do whenever we go anywhere. And then Jimmy and Lloyd are going to explain to you what the Link ECU is doing and how all that works. But I think we should go and look at cool cars.
Oh yeah. Sound like Churchill, innit? The dog. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Straight away, Josh Holsworth missing another massive moment. So this is a MX-5, not a Miata, Jimmy, with a K20. These are fun ones because we don't know what these cars are, so we have to kind of like puzzle them out. We have to figure out. So that's a K20.
That's so cute.
NA.
She goes, it's so cute.
It's NA, so it's NA K20. That's a good swap for one of these. This is a
Oh yeah, I'm
this is
sorry.
definitely a man that spec'd his sports car when he bought it. I'd like the burgundy, please. So
And a hardtop. Wait, they're not that cool over here, right? Hardtops are really expensive in the States.
Everyone here probably puts the hardtop on because of the old weather and the rust and the misery. But Josh has a hardtop on the drift car, but not on the road car. Figure that one out. The one that's dry stored all the time, he has a hardtop for, and the one that's
Josh,
the one that's outside, it's left to the
Yeah,
elements.
this thing is super, super cool.
How does that fit?
So what I've seen with a lot of the case swap Miata guys is, right, since these things are NA and they're pushing so much air through them, your exhaust is a huge portion of your power, which sounds like a no-brainer, but there's a lot of cars that like dent in the exhaust. It doesn't really affect the power band too much, but on the K series, the exhaust is a huge, huge major part of it. And since you don't really have any room to go this way, especially with the right-hand drive, MX-5, not Miata, they actually had to go in front and then back around to maintain the large runner size and the overall diameter. Like to keep the power in it.
It's a very fancy intake as well. That goes all the way to here. So intake here, the exhaust goes where? All the way around.
Good air in, good air out. Yeah, that's how you make them fast.
So this is Lloyd. Lloyd is doing the tuning. This is his personal car. So he has got. This is right down your street now, Jimmy. Because let's guess what Jimmy's building in the US. Something quite similar.
Yeah, K-Swap 8.6. This is cool though. His is turboed, which is really, really cool. He said it made 450. I think it's a stock long block, which is awesome. 450 in this car must feel absolutely ridiculous.
I had an SR20 one of these with 350 and it felt fast.
This thing probably feels like the Eurofighter.
Fluorescent wheels just keep following me around at the moment. Everything's fluorescent, but I really think it looks well on this car. This is like a very tidy, well put together drift car.
This thing looks like a weapon.
Wow. So this is a Mark IV Supra, which has been taken, and he told me something about it. It's been taken back to bare metal and restored.
Okay.
And basically, once all the fabrication is done, it's being painted then.
Love that.
So they're not to scuff it. And
yeah, this is absolutely beautiful.
That is a lot of expensive parts. So this is going to be a street car, would you believe? Street car. I'm not sure how street legal it will be, but yeah, this guy's going the whole hog. So he's going from what essentially was a kind of a rough shell all the way to show-winning car. So this is kind of in its early stages, I suppose. But still beautiful. Looks very nice. Everything's brand new and in the plastic, which I quite like. Now, Jimmy, what is this? This is not an IS200, but it is an IS200.
What makes it not an IS200?
It's an Altezza.
Oh.
So an Altezza, you've got 3 stages, I think, of there's IS200, which is like 2 litre, 140 horsepower. Then you've got Altezza, which I think is 200 horsepower. And then the IS300 is...
Which one does the best rings, though? That's the big
I think
question.
the Altezza does the best rings, but I could be... Do you know what? The IS200 probably does more rings. People with Altezzas now kind of mind it. So this is Andy's. He's building this into a bash car for the Drift Games Bash.
Sick.
So it's going to be a simple, fun drift car build, which has
that's cool.
a Beams turbo.
With a little G25 on it.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
He says it's going to make it like 350 or something like that, and he says it's going to be a fun little car to drive.
They'll make that on a stock engine.
Apparently,
I
he
guess
reckons
so.
they will.
I thought they were sensitive internals. I don't know. I've never messed with Beams. That looks really cool. You not see a lot of Altezzas in Ireland?
There's quite a few, but they're starting to become very valuable now because they're kind of the JDM proper version of an IS200. So, but the IS200 is popular because it looks like an Altezza and it's still quite JDM.
Look at the cage in this thing. He's ready to send this thing off a mountain. It's when you're driving on these little Irish back roads, one of those big ass trucks just wants to run you over. You're set.
This is an IS200.
Yeah, look at it. It's crazy. That's sick.
So this might just be the wildest IS200 we've seen in a while.
Oh yeah. JZ mock-up in it. Look at the whole aftermarket subframe on this thing. Look at this. That's so cool.
So this is so the common swap, and I would say the most, in my opinion, best swap, is a 1JZ in an IS200. That
Bolts
is,
right in.
Yeah, bolts right in. And because the IS300 came with the 2JZ non-turbo, it's not a, out in the States, it's not a difficult modification to do. It's very cool.
He's a busy boy.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff going on in here. We just said we'd show you guys while we're down here this evening. Now we're going to head into the dyno room and we are going to start tuning the Link ECU. So Link have sent us over all the pieces. We're now going to put them in the puzzle, and then Jimmy and Lloyd are going to explain what they're doing, and then we're going to see what sort of power the Verossa makes ahead of the bash. Alright guys, just want to take a second to thank everybody who picked up our mystery boxes last week. We were blown away with the support. Remember guys, everything you buy through our merch shop allows us some budget to build some cool cars into 2023. So thank you so much for all of your support throughout the year. We've also got some brand new merch dropping just after the bash. New colors in the hoodies, new designs. We got a really cool ketchup and mustard RX-7 t-shirt and hoodie coming. And we have some accessories, some lanyards, lots of cool stuff. So make sure you check it out. Last minute buys for Christmas. We have them in stock right now. And also, bash this weekend, we are doing passenger rides with myself, Jimmy Oakes, Adam Ivel. All the boys are doing passenger rides. So if you want to come down, get a spin out in the car to finish off the year, make sure you're there. Tickets are on sale on the Mondello Park website. And we will see you there.
Don't miss out.
In hindsight, standing behind the car there wasn't a good idea.
Alright, so one of the things we wanted with this build was we wanted to, obviously with our partner Link ECU, do something a little bit achievable and affordable for people to do. Because obviously with the Pro Car stuff we do a custom loom and we change everything and we put the whole catalogue in there, it works great. But we wanted this to be a simple seat time car is what we would call it, so it's not going to be over the top.
So for this car, Dave did a Link plug and play ECU, which is meant to plug into the factory connector on the harness. You could reuse your factory harness. They don't technically make one for this car, so the boys down here took the pin, the plugs are the same, but the pin outs are different, so they repinned every single pin to make sure it aligns with the plug and play ECU, which is essentially a Link Extreme, just shoved in a casing that plugs into a factory harness. So, with a built-in 7-bar map sensor, which is awesome, and a bunch of extra IOs that you can plug in and out of if you guys want to add some extra things, and 2 CAN channels, so if you want to add things like CAN gauge, dash, anything that can communicate via CAN, there's a lot of options in there. You can do it, just a plug and play.
Yeah, because we're under tight time constraints, building an entire Pro Car in 3 weeks. So we're going to be doing the dash, we're going to try and do a dash in the back of the car, we're going to try and do a lot of gauges, but all that stuff is a non-essential for maybe this weekend just to get the car going. Okay. But what we want to do is have it running really well. So you guys have been chopping over and back with different ideas. Because talk to us about mapping. Is it just because I'm a layman in this and I'm sure a lot of people watching are this, is it something that is personal that you can put your own spin on, or is it something that just the car dictates? So what do you guys think?
So the car dictates the overall image, but the tuner dictates the fine lines.
Yeah, it's almost like driving, like drifting. There's no exact two drivers will not have the exact same driving style, but they could both maybe score the same qualifying score.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like we're both trying to make as much horsepower reliably as we can, but there's little things in there that Jimmy will do different than I would, and I will do different, and there's nobody right, there's nobody wrong. It's just different preferences, and as long as the thing makes power and reliable, that's all we care about.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like this, so this car runs an e-throttle,
yes,
which is similar to the Corvette. So for some reason, I've ended up with 2 drift cars with e-throttle, which, to be fair, I was against a little bit in the Corvette, but then when you did the map on it, I was all for it because of the adjustability you can get with it because it's electronic and not on a cable. But I think it's amazing because you have like this a 2002 car, but you can now make it into a car that's so much more modern, so much more capable. So what I'm enjoying now is the two of you mind melting together to come up with something quite cool. Blaine and I are going to stand back and do what we always do at dyno sessions, which is stand about here and wait for the flames. That's generally what we do.
Do you want to know what the good and the bad is of this?
Let's go with the bad first.
Okay, the bad is I think the turbo's too small.
Because we went for a simple setup, but maybe it was too small.
Simple means simple power.
True. Maybe simple means simple fun. Reliable?
See, the
small.
problem sometimes if you have too small a turbo and you push it too hard, it's actually more unreliable than
Yeah.
a big turbo at its ease.
Because now you have back pressure, right? And back pressure
Yeah.
causes many issues.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
the bad news. The good news is,
You did a great job controlling it. It looks good so far.
so it's still making pretty.
Still
decent-
running.
It's still running.
Yeah, simple.
So now we just gotta find. We have to make the
And we've
the
given you-
conscious vote of how much do we want to push it.
and we have an excuse, you know, for you now. So if you're not happy or whatever, you know,
It was Jimmy's fault.
if you can't link the track, you can just blame the turbo. The turbo's too small.
Yeah,
Not the
exactly.
driver.
I'll be on camera. Oh, the turbo's too small. I said it before.
I said this on the dyno. No,
while I'm in grid, just upping the boost.
Jimmy. All right, well, the boys are going to get to the fine tuning and we're going to see what this thing makes. We're good.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Spicy. Very spicy.
My eardrums are gone now.
So for no absolute reason at all, Jimmy's putting launch control in, which it doesn't need at all because it's a drift car, but we're here now, why not? We have the capability. Link ECU gave us the capability. Let's put some launch control and maybe some, we don't need too much anti-light because the turbo is small, but little pops and bangs would be nice. Just a few. All right, so if we're eating donuts, that's a good tuning session. Because generally they end with tears and crying and lots of phone calls, but we're here eating donuts. So the guys have done a great job. Car made in and around 400 horsepower, which is what we were aiming for. Now they're already trying to convince me to go put bigger turbos on it for next year and go absolutely crazy with it. We may do and upgrade a lot more stuff. We want to throw a ton of more stuff at this in the future, but for this weekend, it's a shakedown, it's a bit of fun, it's smiles on faces, it's passengers in the car. So tomorrow, off camera, we're going to get all the little bits tidied up, and hopefully Saturday morning she's sitting there in the pits ready for Jimmy to take it for its maiden voyage. We're going to crack one of those champagne bottles off. It's that big a car.
I'd love to.
And we'll put up. So it's going to be fun. If you guys want to see this thing in action, come down to the bash this weekend. Obviously, we'll have the cameras rolling for everything. And thank you guys for all of your support and kind comments on the build. We'll see you guys at the bash on the next episode.